Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Milder. In the video today I'm going to be talking about this album, which is Diamond Head's Lightning to the Nations 2020. Now this was released to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Diamond Head's debut album, often known as the White Album. But it is not a reissue, it's not a remastering, it is a re-recording of the entire album with the current lineup of the band. Now, re-recordings of classic albums, I know divides opinion, certainly within the VC, but I think in this case they have done a fantastic job, and I think they are justified doing it because it's 40 years on. The band, the band only has one original member, that's Brian Tatler, but this current lineup have been together touring and recording new albums. Their last two albums, Diamond Head and Coffin Train. Their new singer, Rasmus Bohm Andersen, has a great voice. But they have been playing the classic songs from this album, which form the main body of the set, to be fair, and quite rightly so, for the last 6 years. So they know these songs inside out. Those songs have evolved greatly over 40 years, and how could they not? I mean, yes, it's a different lineup. Yes, they're a 5-piece now where they were a 4-piece before, but just take Brian Tatler alone. He was a teenager, if not just out of his teens, when the original album was released, and everything he's learned over the last 40 years, playing these songs over and over and over again, and tweaking them and changing them slightly. They're still the same songs. They're still recognisable, but they have a more of a modern twist to them, and certainly with modern production on them as well. And I think they've done a fantastic job. But let's go back 40 years first and talk about the original White Album. Now, obviously, this isn't an original White Album. This is the 2016 reissue of a 2011 reissued, remastered version of the White Album. As well as being a bit of a mouthful, it also shows that this album has been reissued, maybe remastered, multiple times. So doing it again for the 40th anniversary, or maybe even just re-releasing this version again for the 40th anniversary, is not giving the fans anything new at all. The sound from the original Diamond Head album, it's very, very different from the sound you're going to get here. Diamond Head now sound more like a traditional heavy metal band than they did here. Yes, they were part of the new wave of British heavy metal era, but Diamond Head had something a little bit different about them. They didn't play the short, sharp, galloping dual guitar riffs and things that went along with a lot of new wave of British heavy metal bands. These guys were still heavily influenced by the 70s giants of Sabbath, Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin. You only have to listen to The Prince, track 2. The Prince, the start of it, the intro, is all Deep Purple. Am I Evil? Now that is, it's heavy, but it's slow and heavy. It's very Sabbathian in its nature. You can certainly see the influence that Black Sabbath had on the band there, and the Led Zeppelin influence comes in Sean Harris's vocal style. The way he delivers the lines is very reminiscent of Robert Plant. They're not copying really those styles, but they are very, very heavily influenced by them. But over the years, you know, that style is not current. You're not going to hear bands really doing that unless they are sort of modern bands that are trying to sound like the older bands. As I say, they were young guys there. There's Brian, 40 years on. They have grown as musicians, although, you know, obviously Sean Harris vocals, Duncan Scott on drums, and Colin Kimberly on bass are no longer with the band. It is just Brian Tatler keeping the flag flying. He has evolved greatly as a player and as a person, no doubt. And he obviously wants people to hear how those songs appear to him now, and how how he feels about them, and how his how the band plays them. As I say, this band has been together for 6 years now, I think, when Rasmus joined the band. He is a phenomenal vocalist. He's not Sean Harris. He's not trying to be Sean Harris, but he does the Sean Harris era songs a lot of justice. I mean, I've seen them 4 times in the last 5 years. I would have seen them again this year, but obviously all gigs were off. I've seen them in a small venue, generally the same venue in Edinburgh, a place called La Belle Angel, and you're right up and close, and they put on a great show. And the band, obviously touring for the last 6 years, they know these songs inside out. And as I say, Brian has evolved as a player, and the songs have evolved as well, and you certainly hear that in this album. I don't see this as a replacement for the first album. You wouldn't buy this if you didn't already own this. It's a good companion. It's a good mark in the sand. You know, the original to where the band feel they are now, and what the band feel, certainly Brian particularly, about the songs and how they've evolved, and how he, no doubt he feels that he has improved them, but obviously from a fan's point of view, we're very much stuck in time from that moment where we first heard it, and that sound and everything that went with it. So yes, it's not meant to be a replacement. As I say, I don't see why you would want to own this if you weren't already familiar with this album. It is certainly not a replacement. Let me show you the packaging. It's very nice to see. Inside the gatefold you get the band. This is Erasmus here. He has also produced this album, so he's not a hired gun. He's not a new singer. As I say, he's not been brought in to sound like Sean Harris. He's been brought in to do the old songs justice, but also to take the band forward. And if you hear the last 2 albums, the self-titled Diamond Head and Coffin Train, you can certainly hear that his voice certainly suits the direction that the band have taken now. Now this is a 2-album set, but thankfully the original album is still just on one vinyl record, which is this nice electric blue. There we go. The second disc, it's more of a bonus disc. I mean, it's classed as a double LP, but it's more of a bonus disc. We've got 4 classic songs that are covered by Diamond Head here. I've played it once. It's not something I'm going to play often. It's a passable version of Sinner. No Remorse, obviously the Metallica song. What they wanted to do here clearly was to kind of pay homage to the fact that Metallica reignited the interest in Diamond Head, and even brought them so many more new followers, and probably even finally gave Brian Tatler some royalties, because the original albums weren't necessarily well, they were popular, but they didn't make them millions like the likes of Maiden managed. But No Remorse is, whereas Metallica do a great Diamond Head, I don't think do a great Metallica. Let's leave it at that. But in the sleeves, not polylined, unfortunately. Both are blue. There's the covers album here, but it's it's good stock. We've got the credits and a moody black and white band photo, the lightning flash, the Diamond Head logo. Love that logo, and lyrics as well. Now apparently the original White Album had so where's my CD gone? The original White Album was completely white. It didn't have the logo in the middle. It did have the signatures on. Obviously, these are reproduced for the reissue, but it was completely white. The original design, though, did have some kind of blue flash, and I don't know if it looked exactly like this one, or this is just a reimagining of it. But Sean Harris didn't like the flash, and it was a friend that was doing the work for Packing Film, I think, was doing the printing in the boxes. So they ended up with just a white sleeve, and then they took that to the record companies. But that's one thing that apparently didn't go in their favour either, because record companies like to control that whole process. So when a band comes in already with some vinyl in their hand, it didn't necessarily work for them. So Diamond Head could have been more successful if they weren't dogged with a few maybe poor managerial decisions along the way, or choices that they made, but they will forever be written in the annals of heavy metal. I give this album a big thumbs up. I say it's a great companion album to the original. If you've never heard the original, don't listen to this one first, please. Listen to the original, get to know that one, and then familiarise yourself with how the band have evolved over the last 40 years and how they see how those songs have evolved through the release of this album. Let me know in the comments what you think about bands re-recording classic albums. Are you a fan? Are you not? Maybe give me some other examples of albums that you may have. I can think of a couple off the top of my head, but it would be great to see your thoughts and in the comments below, and have a chat about that. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you again soon.